God damn, there's a bright light on that bald head.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sacred Society podcast with myself here, X.
Dadpool.
And it's me.
You're back.
You're back.
You were gone for like
Who
a
are
day.
you, though?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm Butcher Brand.
Yeah. The butcher is back.
The one, the only.
Kills. He kills.
He playing. Bath. They playing bath.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Back, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know what's funny is we were having this conversation the other day where we're making a small video, like a we're making a video about kind of like the history of Sacred 8, because it's crazy to think that we're already going to be hitting 5 years soon.
Wow.
God damn.
Hell yeah.
But we were talking about just making a skit, and it's because we have like the Magic Kids. All these kids are fucking brand new, and by kids I mean all ages.
Right.
But they have
I actually just made a skit. I went to the bathroom. I checked. Yeah. Sorry. Guilty. Got a nice one.
yeah,
Gross.
I'm kidding.
and that'll be
I had
all.
two.
Butch.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming and you take care now.
No,
Come back real soon.
I
So
started
you-
realizing that somebody had worn a Chad Chevy Chaser T-shirt. They have no context for what that
man.
is. And so as it's been growing, a lot of people don't even have context for who
Right.
you are. Because you've been gone for what? What was
well,
it?
before episode 100, so it was, I don't know, 60s or something?
Yeah, I'd say probably 70s.
Yeah,
like
70s.
Yeah, the 70s.
So you've been
70s,
gone
yeah.
for almost about a year.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
Well, 14. We're 14 episodes in. That's 14 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, I did come and see you in November.
Oh, that's right.
right.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like,
But
for
with this.
consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But no, that's cool, man. So how you boys doing?
Good, man. Just another week getting back in the trenches. You know, now that it's slowing down at the shops, it's like, fuck, dude, what's going to happen? But we've been getting new Dyson and more stuff for like gaming and that kind of stuff. And that's really what's been like bringing people in. Of course, with all the Pokemon craze, we're still fucking ass out because our guys just do not allot anything to us. We've ordered back in December, we ordered back in November, and we ordered back in October, and we only got October's in probably the week of Christmas. Yeah, because we only got like 12 fucking Pokemon tins, none of the blister pack cards, none of the booster cards, nothing. That was it.
Pikachu fucking hates you
No
guys.
magic. Yeah, pretty much. But we did get like One Piece stuff, which was cool. We got a lot of the starter decks, and we got like a couple of boxes of the best and the 2 legends. I think that was the only.
You're
2 we
making
got.
quite the commercial for
I know.
Galactic right now.
Absolutely.
We have absolutely
Absolutely.
nothing.
We have nothing.
We
But
can't get
we
shit
still
in.
have this.
But come on down, because you can look at John's
No, but it's
face.
it's just kind of like
He's got some magical eyebrows.
I do, and a magical beard.
No, John does.
Oh yeah, that's true.
My
JD.
kids saw him in the wild at the mall.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
My kids they're at that age where they like to go to the mall with their friends. Oh, we're going to Sephora and get some samples. And then go get a pretzel, a $30 pretzel.
Yeah,
what
why
the
the
fuck's
fuck,
a $30 pretzel? I mean, I remember a $5 milkshake from Pulp Fiction, but
Yeah.
come on. And they're
that
like,
tastes like a $5 milkshake.
and my girl's like, he said hi to me, and I, those eyebrows, I got lost, Dad.
Forest of JD.
I can't see the forest for the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But no,
Sorry.
it's good though, and I'm happy with that. The people that do stop by, like our regulars, always good for the chit chats and whatnot. But how about you guys? You guys got your Pokemon in? I saw last week.
Yeah, actually, thanks to thanks to our fucking real superhero,
Yes.
anti-hero, and just a good guy all around. Brian. Bry is
Big Bry?
No.
Oh.
UPS Brian.
Oh,
Oh,
UPS
yeah, yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
Ninja Brian.
Yes.
There you go.
Red
Hood.
Yeah, Red Hood
Yeah.
B.
Yes.
But what had happened was, so I had asked Edwin and I'd asked a few other people about pre-orders for Pokemon, and I don't know shit about Pokemon. I always admit that. I know Pikachu, Mewtwo, and whatever's been on like.
I like Gengar because he's round and purple and looks mean, and I'm like, I can identify with that guy.
I love the gangbangs.
he's like-
no Gengar.
Gengar.
Yeah.
Gengar. No. Gengar.
He's like Grimace's angry brother.
Yeah, I
Looks
can
like his
see that.
ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Like one of his balls.
yeah.
That's
Jesus.
specifically what you think about.
You're being hurtful.
Sorry.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, sorry.
I want to catch him.
In my mouth.
Hey, I got him. Bye, buddy.
No, we had a thing where everybody was charging for the new ETBs, which are the Elite Trainer boxes. $50 box, you get a few packs, you get some dice, kind of like starter pack basically. And everybody was getting gypped on their shipments, so they were going for like 120, 150, and then you can see like online through apps and stuff how much people are paying. Dude, people were paying like at the peak of that day about $450 for this $50 box.
God damn, I need a pallet of this shit.
Well, that was
Dude,
the thing.
yeah.
People were stealing. People were going crazy all over this.
Yeah, I
So
saw lots of Costco videos of people just unorganized, just rushing in. Target videos, like it was all over the place.
So those
dude.
aren't ETBs. Those are something different,
Oh,
but they're still doing
yeah,
that.
but I mean, it was just ridiculous.
It's like,
dude.
I got the EBT card, baby. I'm getting all the
Pokemon
cheese.
EBT, that's
I'm
right.
getting cheese and cigarettes.
Sing a chew. I got you.
I caught you. And I guess I caught lung cancer.
But the thing was, so I had a really big dilemma because, if market value is going for market value, would you not want to be able to make some money back? We got Union Arena in, which if John wants some cool Demon Slayer shit or some Jujutsu Kaisen, I got cases. I got fucked on this order that we can't sell. No matter what I do, I can't sell it. And I don't blame anyone for not buying it. So guess what's going in your gift box?
Yeah.
But because of that, I was like, maybe we can offset what we lost up to like $1,000. Maybe we can see what we can do. And then I did not sit well with me. So I ended up calling the society themselves. I called Rivers. I called, obviously, Edwin, Access, shout out to him, and a bunch of other people. And I was like, hey, man, like if I were to charge, let's just say $100, where everyone else is charging $150 to $200, would that make me a bad person? And everyone kind of gave me the same thing. We're like, dude, we support you. Like whatever you got to do, you do. And I was sitting here with Eric after a while, and I was like, I don't know if I should do this, man. But wouldn't it be funny if I just sold it like cheaper than everybody else and made everyone who's in town like scalping look like an asshole?
Absolutely.
And so I was like, fuck it, let's be petty.
You turn your hat around. Click, 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 click.
Over the top.
Yep.
Puts the arm up to start wrestling.
Oh man, fucking what's going on, No Name? What's going on, Hunter?
Hey,
Okay,
no name. What's up?
I'm in chemistry class right now. Don't tell my mom.
You.
Well, that's really interesting.
At least he's not behind the fucking library smoking doobies.
Yeah, exactly.
Good
Stay
life
in
choices.
school.
Good life choices.
So we were in this dilemma. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Being petty is what I do best. And the second that happens, the instant universal karma.
Oh, shit.
It goes down to $20 a box.
No,
Oh.
they lose our box. All these different shops were calling each other. I even called shout out to Turlock Comics and a few others that were very awesome places to shop. People were reporting that, like, dude, all of our shipments, the wrong label made those boxes. So somebody's perishable medication from King City came to our doorstep,
Oh,
Holy
no.
shit.
and they need it within
Right
that time frame.
You killed somebody.
I didn't.
No.
UPS did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Brian's the
Secret
hero.
assumes no
Okay.
liability or responsibility.
So he
in that.
tells me, and I was like, fuck, dude, because we had the pre-order, we had this and that. And he goes, you know what? I'll find him. Don't worry about it. I'll find it. We'll get it done. And so he goes and it says, because he has the heaviest route. So he goes, don't worry about it.
That's because he's the best. He gets that shit done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, in shape, by the way.
Oh, very much.
Dude fucking goes, and about 6 hours later, he goes, I found it. It's in Carmel. We don't know how. excuse me, we don't know how the fuck it ended up there. If the King City thing got slapped to me, how did it get over there? So he finds, he goes, you want me to bring it by? Sure. Boom. So they come over, they bring it, they deliver it, we get it. And in the meantime, as this is happening, there's this guy who is speaking to Eric in the front. And the guy immediately goes, like, yeah, blah, 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 going over here, going over there. And he was really fucking nice. Like, he was super cool, but I don't remember ever seeing this guy before. Mm-hmm. And so the guy eventually says, are those the ETBs? Yeah. He goes, how much are you selling them for? Because down the street at a certain place, they're selling them for almost $200 to $250 a box. Fuck. And they sold out. And so when they got their second bunch,
right,
they resold out at that price. And I was like, honestly, man, this is the price. And it was well below everybody else, right? And so I think we sold them for $80.
It's all $249.
Yeah. we sold them for $78.99. You know, and I was like, cool, dude, at least we can make some back on the shit that they fucked up on our order. Mm-hmm. And we're being there. And everyone was like, how much? I go, one per customer. All right, cool. The guy was super nice. And he goes, I'm going to remember you. And I was like, what the fuck does that fucking mean?
Because you just made me $175.
He's all, you got any Authority comics back there?
Exactly. Hey, Chunko.
I like chubby guys. I'm a chaser.
Yeah.
Funny you say that.
Yeah, what was the fucking goddamn the Pokemon you said?
Gengar?
No, the other one, the Sigger.
Oh,
Sigachu.
Sigachu, yeah.
Sigachu, I choose you.
Gengar. You got a can of beans anywhere? I can heat those up for you. Nah, I like them Rorschach style.
Yeah, exactly.
Right out of the can.
Good in the can. Yeah. So, he goes, all right, I'm gonna remember you. All right, cool, whatever. So I go home that night. Everything gets done. To the society members that have always backed us up, they're like, hey, I've been looking for one. Cool, dude, I got you. But we had to leave some on the floor.
Right.
Very next morning, I get here to prep for my tattoo, and then I'm getting stuff done for my my January challenge Discord. And I'm in this room, and I hear a phone call. So I was like, who the fuck's calling this early? Oh, the goddamn boxes. And I let it go, and then it calls again. And they're just relentless, so I'm like, ugh. Pick up the fucking phone, and the guy goes, hey man, this is the guy that came in yesterday. I'm at Costco. Nobody got their fucking product in today. So I stood up in front of everybody and said, hey, go to Sacred 8 Studios. It'll be cool. Shit. I fucking opened the door, dude. And because I hear people talking, there's 100 people around the goddamn building out in the front, and I was like, oh shit. So we go ahead, we get that done.
Amazing! $300.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm about to catch them chicks.
That's right. I caught some bills. I need your money.
So it eventually turns into where we sold them to the people that had come in, mm-hmm. And then I had heard this through the grapevine that other shops are doing. So basically, because there's so many scalpers and they want to sell their product, the guys were doing it, and as we did too, I said, if you want to pay market price, which right now is at like $200 to $400, then I'll leave it sealed. If you want to pay the MSRP, like the Sanctorum price, I want to cut the plastic off for you. So it's an open package. Oh, all of a sudden, those...
that line turned to 4 people.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Right.
But nobody else... so we had the
people that actually wanted it got it.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. I love that.
And so when it came to Edwin was supposed to be here to help me because I don't know shit about Pokemon.
Right.
So all these people are coming in, and they're like, what are singles? How much is this? How much is that? A small group came after with that guy. And they were some of the nicest people that I met. They were super cool. They were super friendly. Met a few of them that were just, I guess they had just met each other that week going to Costco's or whatever. But they were really cool. They spent some money, and they were like, oh, you guys play. Oh, you guys do this. Fuck, I had no idea this year. And that kid, like what's his name? The stranger in Fallout? The perk.
Oh, Mysterious Stranger. Yeah.
That motherfucker comes in, and he's like, hey, man, I'll be seeing you soon. Ding, ding, ding,
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's right. He had the trench coat and the hat on and everything.
Exactly.
His trench coat opened a little bit. He's not wearing any clothes underneath. He's all, I'll see you soon.
Yeah. His pistol, it's solid gold.
One shot.
Why is he going into VATS mode?
So, no, man, it did really well, but it would not have happened if Brian didn't go out of his way.
Yeah.
I did not get to really say this earlier in the week, but like, thank you to you, Brian. I know you're listening on the route.
You're owed one hug.
Yes, exactly. Specifically from Butch.
Yay.
But,
Naked.
yeah, so that.
No. Trench coat.
What is it? The fucking. It's a
Cha-cha.
So no, that went pretty well, and then this card night just fucking blew the fucking boat apart, man. It is getting to the point where we're having to turn people away.
You're going to
Yeah.
have Pokemon versus fucking Magic soon.
I mean, dude, the Yu-Gi-Oh kids, there was a kid who was yelling his ass off a few nights back, and I had to get loud for the first time in a while. And that kid's like, this is what I do. And I was like, that's not what you fucking do here, homie. And it was the thing where it's like,
Oh gosh. Well, guess what? I'm a winner. I'm winning. Hey guys, I'm winning.
So it's been interesting, but now the new Innistrad stuff comes out this week. It has been a doozy of the past few days.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man, just to see how far the shop has come. And it's like, all right, cool. We'll see how it's building. But Pokemon has been interesting to where now I actively have to purchase cases in advance
Yeah.
just to get denied 90% of it because the larger
Stores,
allocations are
yeah.
getting it. So you kind of have to over order and then
Get what you get.
get what you get. But on the off chances they overprint it and they're like, don't worry, all those 40 boxes, you needed them all.
Yeah.
We got you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're all, aren't you Sacred Costco? They got your 40 pallets here.
Yeah.
Fucking 18 wheelers all boop, boop, boop. What the hell is that?
Yeah. Fucking Brian looks like the Doom guy fending him off.
Yeah. He's fucking Bane. He's like carried so many boxes. He's fucking venoming that fucking monsters or whatever he has.
No.
So, like you guys saw, I played Magic the Gathering
Yeah,
for the
you
first
did.
time
Yeah.
ever because my nephew and my niece's husband are huge Magic players, and they battle each other all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are fucking nerds. No, I was like, and they go, we have more. You're gonna play. We're gonna teach you because I don't want to bring down the room, but my father was passing away.
Oh.
And so he
Sorry,
passed
brother.
away on the 9th of December. It's fine. He had a very long, very amazing life, and I love him very much, and I miss him. But it brought my family together, which was great.
Yeah.
That was such a gift, you know? So part of that was this Magic the Gathering thing. That was on Christmas. We kind of had a celebration of life
yeah.
for him and my mom, because we never really did it for my mom.
Oh.
You guys know, you've heard the show.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
just
true.
go back
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
archives.
Yeah, go back to the 60s and 70s.
Right,
You see all that
you'll
stuff.
hear. But yeah, that shit's very complex.
Yo, 100%. I had a guy come in yesterday to the shop and was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a Magic. What do you recommend? And
Monopoly.
I'm just like, yeah, exactly. I should have told you should play Monopoly. No, I because I have played a few games and again, thankful to Bri, Rodrigo, Sam, Beefy. I know I'm gonna leave a lot of everybody that started playing Magic back in the day that took the time to be patient with me, to try to teach me, to help me learn. I was able to help this guy like, hey, I know what commander decks are. I know what this is for, depending on what kind of color player you're going to be, there's certain. Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
He's like, wait a minute.
Is this a
Affirmative
trap?
action?
You're tricking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're scaring me.
Yeah,
You're scaring me.
Yeah, the guy. What was it? The episode we had the boys on. It was The Curse of the White Man.
Yeah, white man.
I was on that one.
Yeah.
You didn't give a shit about it.
Not at all.
not at all.
And you know what? I still don't. But
But it was nice to have. I mean, R.I.P. to Cena Louis Sam. We miss
Yes.
him. But you were saying?
Yeah. So anyway, so it's just that I'm grateful that I took the time to learn about it, because then I was able to tell them like what the things are, like what the play boosters and draft boosters and all that, and how it's changed now. That if you wants to play, the best places to come is here, because like there's the guys that have taken the time, the patience to help someone learn. And it's also that part of it, but the part where they're using you to get to each other back and forth, so
they're playing by proxy.
Right. And so I think that's the fun element of it that kind of made it more enjoyable for me, and it lessened the fear that I had about it, because it is very complex. There's a lot to learn.
Well, apparently
The
I'm
rules-
awesome because I destroyed both of them.
Fuck yeah.
But I don't remember anything about it.
Magic is one of those things that I think I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's pretty easy. Once you get into it, I think it depends on the type of deck you play.
Right.
Mine, which is a white and green deck, it's easy because it's just multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to know how to add and subtract. It's very simple, but you have to read, or as the kids would say, RFTC.
What's the one where you can play all the colors?
Just a rainbow deck. Yeah, I mean, basically, you can do whatever you want.
No wonder I won. I'm winning. That's what we do.
Yeah. Hello, boys.
Good morning. Lay down your pawns.
Oh, an island full of boys.
They don't use magic wands in Magic, though.
That's right.
It's
I
a
have to
deck of
stab
cards,
you
not
in
a
the
dick
mouth
of
now.
cards.
Stab you in the mouth. Good morning.
No, but I mean, to me, I really have enjoyed it. We were talking yesterday because one of his name is MJ, solid kid. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh judge. He is doing his capstone on Sacred 8.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh, cool. His dream is to own a card shop of his own one day. And he's like, I want to own a shop that basically brings community together. He goes, you have kind of like the idea of what I want to do. And I was like, so you're looking to franchise?
You can be supple seven.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's a lot of hentai girls here. Are they girls?
Whoa. Longer skirt next time, Tony.
Oh,
I can see your bag of coins.
coins.
Treasure.
Those are my magic dragon balls.
Dragging them on the floor.
Oh,
man.
How old is Tony? I'm 98. You might want a robe.
He's so just in a giant fucking maid's outfit with a cat ears. He's
Yeah.
like,
Now, who needs dusting?
oh man. So I mean, like,
I can just see some fat old man in a maid suit with cat ears. Hey, I'm here to clean your house. Get the fuck out. I have to do this solo.
trying to do the dances.
Yeah.
Super
Or you wake up and the maid is in your quarters, but facing away from you, and you're like, ooh, torta, and then hello, oh my god, is that Alan? Oh,
well.
I got bagels down there.
Glenn, I see you've picked up some extra shifts, huh?
I see you shaved the mustache.
Well, it's just migrated.
I call it a landing strip.
But I mean, the thing I've loved about it though is like when MJ came in, he was talking about some stuff, and we were kind of talking about the society in general, the new version of the society, and how I've been taking photos. You both know this for years.
Oh, yeah.
Of I'm finally coming out at the end of the year. That is like a personal.
I'm still
goal.
waiting for that calendar you promised me.
Which one?
The all nude one that we did here.
Oh yeah, no. It's a printing error
Oh!
thing.
Yeah, you're not supposed
Why
to.
do we have two cases of these?
Yeah, nobody wants to steal these.
Yeah.
All the ETBs, but none of these
We-
fucking big
We
copies.
haven't been broken into lately.
Yeah.
Well, instead of shades, we just put these calendars on the front.
Yeah, I don't have ETBs, but I have these real big Ds.
Yeah. Is that fucking ET? Oh shit.
Why is it glowing?
Yeah.
My fold out's like 12 pages.
So why is it
Lord.
glowing? The battery fire in Moss Landing, of course.
But no, we were talking about it, just how the New Society. This is the fifth rendition of Sacred 8. Like as far as people coming in, we had when I first met both of you guys, there was a very specific amount of people that came here. From
What version was that then?
So version 1 was like 2019, 2020. Version 2 would be 21. Version 3 would be 22. 4, 23. 5 would be kind of 24, 25-ish. So you guys were here during like the second rendition of the society, because you had Tiger Mofo Jenkins, shout out to them. You had Rebecca, you had Mr. Mike Lane, you had Dean Hopsonville, you had all the guys from I mean, even oh my god, they're gonna hate me so much, but there's 3 guys specifically from Facebook, and the only reason I don't remember their names right off the top of my head is because they've always followed since the beginning, but they never have actually interacted with us. But I mean, we had them.
I blame Zuckerberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the guys over, one of the guys was on a ship during 2020, and he was probably he's the very. Well, him
Is he
and
the one that
Rebecca-
came into the shop?
Yes,
Yeah.
him
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Rebecca, where she came in a year earlier, were the very first 2 society members that came from the East Coast.
Right.
And it
That
was
guy is super cool.
Yeah,
I
he was-
totally can't remember his name right now.
But the thing is like I don't get to see them all the time, but he has always been a supporter, where he was talking about at the time our live streams were going on at 9 p.m. On a Friday night. So for us,
was
people are
7, yeah.
you're stuck at home,
Yep.
COVID, everything, and you just got the stimulus check. So I was like, fuck it. I was going out buying these comic collections, and they would sit it. So on the East Coast, it's already midnight.
right.
And he was like, dude, it was like 2 a.m. on a undesignated area because he's military. And it goes out in the middle of the water. And I got to watch you guys on my shift.
It's Area 57. I'm allowed to say something now.
Exactly. He's like, these aliens are really interesting. He's a compromiso, por favor.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh, shit. I know that one.
Yeah.
Ay, ay,
Are you a gray? He's a Simon.
ay. No, I'm a Grace.
That boy, Mr. Rudy, what's going on? I have no idea who that is. Big balls.
Big
I love it that No Name Collects goes, I'm in chemistry class right now. Don't tell my mom. I regret taking this class. It's nothing like Breaking Bad's. Shake my head. But the crazy part about it is the time that you guys came in was probably the second edition, because then we had people like, obviously you both,
Right.
We had Pep, we have, at the time his name was Gusto. Now he's known as Crooks.
That's right.
But then we also had Supreme, we also had Danger Douche, we also had all these other dudes
Yeah.
where you're like and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had some pretty cool guys that came into the Sanctorum. V3 to me was right when we got like Pep and Dr. Matt Hatton, all the people who really helped with the BD collectibles. That's when we started doing more of the pods.
Yeah.
But that was the time when we had Chad's Chubby Chasers, America's 27th Best All Male Strip Club,
Right.
Chad's Chastity Chapel, Mama Margaret's Mommy Salami's Pizzeria. So all these were just signs that we had to throw in our window during construction, because construction was almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Back
to back.
to back.
Yeah.
So
When they going to open that calendar
I
store?
know. I love my calendar, guys.
But
shit.
yeah, so that was the trip. But now we're at a point where I want to release a lot of the photos I'm taking in a book. Now the book is not for sale, but if enough people want it, then I'll throw it out through like Amazon or one of those companies
Hell yeah.
that does it. But I have some phenomenal photos of you guys that are just passive photos. And what's funny is I have the very first sorting day where it was both of you.
Oh, yeah.
It was Iconic,
Oh yeah.
Pep, and Edwin and Steven, Vegan Steven.
Right.
And you guys had helped me after we got that big ass collection, and you were the one that was kind of delegating. Okay, after we had sorted everything out, Masa and Steven had us put all the tables out before we had the bibs over here.
Right.
And then you were like, okay, this book, here's what you want to look for. And you weren't really looking for keys. You were just looking for things that were like interesting or that we should know. And I have this really nice...
And all those ended up in the dumpster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. But you guys were standing there, and we had spent like a good day and a half.
Oh yeah.
Just going through that. And the photo I have of that, it's like looking at, we see Wonder Woman with like the
Oh yeah, the
commandos.
Right.
I really miss that stuff. People are growing up.
that was a fun day.
Yeah, most of the society right now.
pizza.
Most of the society right now, at least in my opinion, like the Magic guys. I told them, I was like, it's funny, but they're like, you both are parents.
Right.
They are kids that are into something right now for 2 years.
Right.
Magic will be something like comics or like toys we're into for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But spouses come along, kids come along, careers, whatever.
Right.
So you have to enjoy the time you have with them now.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of move on and then shepherd in the new rendition of it. So yeah, we're like on season 5 of Sacred 8.
Which one's Chandler?
Speaking of that, is that the guy who's on Goosebumps?
No,
that's Ross.
Ross.
Oh, okay. See, I don't-
I was listening
Chandler
to that
died
yesterday.
Chandler died like
Yeah.
2 years ago or something.
Oh,
like that.
he's
yeah.
the one in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hot
yeah.
tub time machine didn't work.
He would have.
Fuck. Sorry.
He would have survived if he was in the fires.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that guy
Well,
too.
maybe that's how he would have tried to survive the fires, was hang out in the hot tub. I'll be safe in here. The flames are getting close. Duck under.
All of our friends' demographic is off now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell?
No.
But no, man, it's been interesting. So to see how things have come, and now it's getting older, and having to realize as a business as well as people that you have to be like, hey, kids, you remember this? You remember when this was fucking cool? It's interesting.
They're all, no.
Yeah, fucking dummy.
That doesn't cook, Dad. You fucking... I don't even know what they say for lame shit now.
Oh,
My kids say all kinds of crazy shit.
yeah.
And
That's no skibbity riz.
Oh, no. They don't say that anymore.
No name. You're young. Fucking.
Tell us.
What? Yeah. What did the kids say is lame these days? You're more upbeat. My nephew is.
That's bollocks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fucking John Constantine.
When we were talking about the Goosebumps thing of how TV is not the same as it used to be anymore.
Yeah.
All kids shows are like young adult dramas now.
Yeah.
Nothing is.
It's like the fucking Riverdale and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine what would Riverdale been like, or
It'd been like fucking Three's Company.
no,
Mr. Furley.
What would it have been like? Yeah.
That's Archie.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty. Whoa.
What
It was
would
the Furleys, and what was the other one?
The Ropers.
The Ropers. That's the one, because they got their spin-off. That's right.
Yep.
They had this short little.
Norman Fell.
Yeah.
That guy was in
Yeah.
his 40s when he was Mr. Roper. He was like 45 or 43 or something
Good
ridiculous.
God.
He looked, what, 70-ish?
Yeah.
But you go back and you look at people of that era. Fuck, man, they had World War I and II. No wonder there's fucking 30-year-old looks 60.
That's true. That makes sense.
no name
The
says
stress.
whack.
Whack.
Like
Okay.
question
Yeah.
mark.
Oh,
We still
I-
use that.
I was talking with, because I got a new job, and I love it, and I work with a bunch of cool people. And this one lady, she's about the age of my wife, and we were talking about bringing words back, because my last job, I worked with this kid. He was 22, and he's like, "Hey, I need some words you used back then to make cool," because he's trying to do TikToks and shit.
Right.
And I said, that shit's canceled, right? No. But then it came back 8 minutes later. And I said, well, we used to say skits back in the day. Did you ever say
No.
skits? Skits was a thing around here. And so he's like, I never heard that. Of course you haven't, because you were swimming around in your daddy's balls when we were saying it. which maybe they hadn't even dropped yet. I don't know how old their dad, but she yesterday said to me, she goes, I want to say skits, and I went, thank you very much for the validation.
So what does skits mean?
It's like awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's skits.
Yo, that's skits, homie.
Okay.
Who are you? Have you ever heard skits?
No.
Other than the ones in the underwear.
That's skids.
Skids.
That's with the D, not
That's
a
the
T.
D, damn it.
I know.
I mean, if you're skitting in your underwear, then that's kind of weird.
Well,
Sing it, you know.
Shit at you.
No, when I was coming up, you had Tubular, you had Radical, Wicked fucking Gnar.
but see, we had that too.
Right. Like my stuff is a product of your guys' time.
Right.
The Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah,
lingo.
fucking shits on a saw, brah. There was shits on a saw.
Shits on a saw.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Who the fuck puts their cheeks on a fucking saw?
Shit's on a
So
saw.
there was, there
okay.
was. You got to remember, it's
Yeah.
also regional. You were up here by the bay,
Right.
Yeah.
I
You
was
were
up in Northern California.
Northern
yeah.
California. I'm in the middle of Punk Duck Nowhere.
Bug duck fung dung. Oh, hi. Can I also get the wontons with that?
Podunk Nowhere. But no,
I'm gonna say that later.
I was
Yeah.
telling my client this Sunday about how we talked about this. Like my favorite episodes are episode 12 to about 54, because that's when we were all getting to know each other, like actively. That was when Manny was talking about. He's like, "Yeah, man, Warthog 42069." And you were the one who was like, "Do you mean Warhammer?
You mean
40K?
Warhammer 40K?
Warthog.
And he's all whatever. I'm like, yeah.
He's like, "Man, the new Zack Snyder movie's coming out. Really? What is it?" And he's like, "The one from Disney."
So, it's called Dipshit 9000. Oh, Tron?
So, in one of those episodes, I had talked about this guy who was good friends with my cousin, JD. And he was like the ultimate cool guy. Like, there's every high school kid is always like, "Hey, man, fucking cha, brah." This dude used to call it, my nickname for about like 2 summers was Skunks. Because I had
the blonde.
the blonde and the black. And I was in like 2nd grade. I had this long-ass mohawk for a long time, let it grow out.
Second grader has a mohawk.
I know.
Oh, dude,
right?
no. 1st grade, I had an 18-inch mohawk.
Fuck yeah.
It was lime green, the whole thing. The thing is like, my mom, I don't understand why she was like, "Yeah, that's cool, express yourself." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to play in a band." That's fucking gay. I'm all, "What am I doing this for?" She goes, "Because I can laugh at you."
You're not doing it for Christ.
It's Satan
The
who
mohawk.
compels you.
The mohawk is for Jesus. The band.
Yeah, Jesus is my friend.
Yeah.
And so the kid, do you remember that song?
Which one?
Okay, fucking segue as always.
Yes.
Fucking, I love how he goes, "Not skibbity. Do you smell?" He's trying to. Yeah, Elias is just as fucking old as we are. He's an old soul.
Yeah.
So there is this song. There is this fucking song. When I was growing up, there was Veggie Tales, Bible Man.
Right,
All this stuff.
right. Oh, yeah, I
we
remember
grew up
those.
in the church pretty heavily, and so one day there is this like VHS, and I grew up on listening to the Specials, the Descendants. Catch-22 was huge when I was a little kid for the third wave ska movement, but there was this song that somebody in the church was like, I remember it was the pastor's wife. She told her daughter, who was teaching me how to play piano a little bit, and she did da 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 da.
There's a girl in France who wears no underpants.
What's funny was the preacher's wife goes, "Shelly, we're not in Egypt." Like, really bitchy.
Damn.
And I felt so bad because you could see how quickly she shut down. And I was
She's
like,
all, "Turn her to salt."
yeah, exactly. Ban the witch. So the conversation started happening.
Child of Sodom.
The conversation started happening of like, how do you know X, Y, and Z? Well, I grew up around my cousins giving me giving me cassette tapes of mixes they would make, and then eventually CDs. And so there is this thing from Sunseed, or Sunseed.
Sunseed.
And it's literally, they're like, oh, maybe exactly, it's spelled that way. And so they played this song, being like, yeah, Christians are cool. There's actually a concert in Laguna Seca called
Oh yeah, it's a big Christian.
oh my god, Spirit West Coast.
Yeah.
And there was a ska band there. So they were trying to get like, this kid's into punk rock, but we gotta make him punk rock for Jesus. So this is the fucking song. Shit you not. Imagine the Brady kids grown up in the 70s.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend.
And they were like, you'll be cool. Watch.
He taught me how to live my life as it should be. He taught me how to turn my cheek when people laugh at me.
Everyone was
I've had
laughing.
friends before, and I can tell you that he's one who will never leave you flat.
Not one black guy in the band. And so,
Is that band Casio?
no, it's a real full-on
Wow.
ska band,
Oh,
and it's
shit.
just they look like what was his name? Donnie what? From
Oh,
the-
Donnie and Marie.
No, from the Brady Kids. Is it? Maybe
No,
Donnie
you're
Marie.
thinking of Donnie Bonaducci. So
That was the
a
Partridge
band that
Family.
I used to run around with, the Psychos in Love. They have a song called Danny Bonaducci is the Antichrist. I'll have to find that for you. It's a fucking cool ass song. But yeah, Danny Bonaducci. He was from the Partridge Family.
Yeah, Partridge
Yeah.
Partridge Family. Yeah, because they were all the singers.
Oh,
But they're easy to mix up.
Yeah, absolutely.
No name asks. He goes, "Did you smell? Is that what they called you skunks?" No, because my hair used to be fucking 2 colors.
Oh, because I'd squirt my juice on the wall.
So
Hershey.
Just imagine that guy, the Danny Bonaducci, and then the rest of them having like the Partridge Family hair, and it was just, yeah, this kid's gonna get into Jesus and whatever. So fast forward, I'm at the summer pools with a few friends or whatever, and used to have Stone Soup, which was the summer program that you could go to leave your kids at,
Right.
and then they would take us to the pool right behind it.
We had that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, what's going on? Skunks." Because of my hair. And he goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "It's good seeing you. Hey, do me a favor, little bro. Please don't be a problem, and please don't run around the thing." So I was a kid that didn't listen to anybody.
Right.
But because he just showed like respect, I was like, all right. So the kids would run. "Hey, what the fuck you doing? He asked you not to fucking run, asshole. Hey, bro."
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah,
Squirt, squirt. You lift your tail. Squirt, squirt.
But he was the one where I got a lot of my lingo from, because he would talk to somebody else, and I remember there was some girl, which ironically, as a second grader, though they look like adults to me,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but they were in high school,
right.
and I just remember he was talking to some girl, and she was like, "So, what are you doing after this?" He goes, "I don't know. Probably gonna go down to the creek and check out some stuff, man. Some fucking wicked gnar stuff down there." And I'm over here, and I'm all wicked gnar.
Wicked gnar.
And so fucking my mom's like, "What'd you do today?" I go, "Shut up, mom. Lick my wicked gnars." No, that's not.
Instantly just belt
She's all,
whipping.
there goes your door.
Oh
She's like, I
man.
was just gonna give you your door back, and you had to do that.
Mother, it's winter. I need a sheet. Cover yourself with your wicked nars. Whenever I hear nar, I
Yeah.
think of fucking dollar.
Oh,
Because every other word's nar.
yeah. Well, when you're an imposter, it's kind of hard to not. But anyways, so that to be said, I know for a fact that when it came to lingo, I don't think much changed until the 2000s.
Yeah.
That's when I think lingo lost its flavor. You know, like even fucking Hunter is like, dear God, what was that? The 70s? What were they on?
That was the 90s.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
like late 80s, 90s.
Right.
This is probably someone who was born in, 2003?
No, he's early 90s because he just turned 30
Oh,
on Sunday.
yeah.
So,
Nar.
but the crazy part is I rewatching a lot of movies like Dracula 2000. There's not a lot of lingo in there. It's more of just a state of being. The stoner became much more like the tech stoner.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
That Dracula 2000 made me think of the Leslie Nielsen one. Life sucks. Dracula's something.
Yeah.
he's like, what?
I don't think I ever saw that, but I did. That poster popped up on me the other day.
But other than that, I don't think there's been much other. I don't know. I think that's why now. Did you ever watch Creature Commandos?
I watched the first episode, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't know if I care about this."
Yeah, I fucking loved it. Honestly, I think that's one of the best.
I know,
because
because I said that, and you're all, "Oh, fuck you."
I was like, oh, another bad choice, Butcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. What are your bad choices? Hold on. How much time do you have for this fucking scroll that goes 18 feet long?
Come on.
He's all-
go and another check.
Yep. He's all
all butch?
No birthday present next week. I'm all, what about unicorn cupcakes?
I feel like that is a really good example of why certain properties, at least to me, they hit because now they're becoming nostalgia goggles.
I think the thing was I was expecting a live action thing. And then when I booted it up, I'm all, it's a fucking cartoon.
But DC animation
Yeah,
is far
yeah,
better than
yeah.
anything Marvel
Yeah,
does animation.
Absolutely.
I will go and give it a shot. But like I have all the Penguin, and I started watching one and then something happened and I stopped. And I haven't revisited that. But I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I need to just give it a, devote some time. But that damn TikTok, man, grabs my eyeballs. And then like an hour's gone. And then I got to go to bed because it's 5:30 and I just ate my tapioca. Hey, 2:00 a.m. comes mighty fast. Why? Why do you have to get up so early? To listen to AM radio, of course. That was my dad. He would eat, and then around 4:30, my dad was asleep. Like Cowboys were on. He put on some cowboy movie. And then, sure shit, 1:30, 2 a.m., he's wide awake, listening to the radio.
I think that's why I appreciate the Creature Commando stuff is because my dad loved monsters. So a lot of my affinity for horror movies or the genre itself comes from my father. It's funny because like you talk about that. Both of you have lost somebody extremely dear to you this year.
Or last year, I should say.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, but close.
Yeah,
I mean, it's only been a few...
Like 2 months. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, how do you think that affects how you watch things now as an adult? And how do you think that affects how you consume things you don't know? Like, in my cases, the reason why Creature Commandos is cool is because if you give it to Robot Man, G.I. Robot, as long as you give it to that, just try it. I think you'll find it funny when it comes to the Nazis.
Because that's all he wants to do is kill Nazis.
But believe me, there is a retribution at hand that I think you would appreciate. Okay. Just out of the humor of like, oh, this is really good. Oh, all right, that's funny. And so for my dad, I think when I watch it, I spoke about it on the pod at the time, but I got really choked up because I was used to sitting with my dad when I was younger and be like, hey, wasn't that cool? Because he would tell me facts, which is why I speak so much. And then I have not done that in years.
I wish he was more like his mom.
Yeah, exactly. Just be gone.
Be careful with that. He might take the door away.
No shit. Yeah. There go your clothes. Here, eat this ramen.
He's gonna give you a sheet for your birthday now.
Yeah. He's all, you're white. You'll understand.
What's up with this? What's up with the skid mark? So don't worry, the skid mark.
That ghost has diarrhea.
But I turned around while watching it, and I went over because one of our friends had stayed over for the week, and so we had left the chair from the guest room in the living room, and I went to talk to it, and I was talking to it like really quick in my head. And I looked over and he wasn't there. Yeah. And I was like, I felt fucking dumb. I mean, not in a embarrassed way, but more of like, oh, you fucking idiot. You know he's gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, the question is how do you watch things now, even if it's still soon, but how do you watch things now that you know that you would have enjoyed with that person?
Well, I know, like, my dad was all about cowboys. And you know what's funny is, like, they have there's a finite amount of movies from that period, right? He's seen them all. 1,000 times. And, and I guess like recently he was kind of like, why do you guys always put the fucking Cowboys on? Well, don't you like it? I've seen them all. Like, you know, I could watch something else. Where's that Jazzercise channel?
Put on Jane Fonda again.
You don't know what that is, probably Aerobicize, but they had when we were kids
Yeah.
on it was
Yeah.
on Showtime. Yeah, it wasn't even could be considered porn. It was just a little cheesecake thing.
Yeah, no, I remember what it was because it was on VHS by the time I got to it.
Okay.
Most of the 80s movies always had like the hip adductors or whatever they were
Yeah,
called.
the Thigh Master.
The Thigh Master.
was Susan.
And
Was it
Susan
Suzanne
Sarandon.
Summer? No, Susan Summers.
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne
yeah.
Summers
And-
from Three's Company.
and having them on there, and then it would be like all right, we're gonna reach for the sky.
No, this
And
thing
you're
was this. It was an all-white studio. There was a rotating turntable. There were 3 women, and they would there were no words spoken. They just kind of bent forward, and
Yeah, they would. Each
they
one would be
just
at a
do
different level of
and they would cut
movement.
the camera and show you different angles. Like, oh, I can see her boobs. Not really, but you know, when you're 9 years old, you're like, wow, where's the Sears catalog so I can look at the bra section? Flip, flip. That's another thing. This kid I was working with, he goes, oh, do you have the magazines? And I'm like, are you talking about like
Playboy?
titty mags and stuff? Oh yeah, I had those, of course.
Yeah.
And he goes, whoa, what about when you were like younger, like you couldn't get it? And I says, we had the J.C. Penney catalog.
Bourbon's your
Yeah,
only friend.
and you would flip through, you'd find the bras, and then go, oh, that looks darker there. That's a nipple. And he's like, oh. I could just see, he was like, that sounds amazing. You're 22. You have a girlfriend. Has she not shown you her tits?
So I have to show her mine.
Yeah. He's all, does your girlfriend have a dick too? I'm like,
oh God,
no.
Not yet.
And balls.
How do you watch?
I'll be honest. There's times where I'm watching a show, and like you said, you know, you see something that makes you think of that person, and especially for my brother, it's like anything I'm watching these days, you know, it's immediate. Like I just want to be able to talk to him about it, and I do in my head, but he's not really physically there anymore. And then I know that there's sometimes when I'm watching movies and something has to do with a sibling being lost or a family member. And it kind of hits me for a second because it reminds me like, oh, fuck, you know, Phil's not here right now. And you start playing those things in your head and, you know, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. But it's mostly, too, for me, like, I've been cleaning up my room. I've been going through and reorganizing stuff and figuring out what I'm getting rid of. And I came across all of Philip's Lone Ranger action figures, and I forgot that I had been putting them to the side because I had wanted to get him something for Christmas this last year to be able to give that to him. And I even ordered on Macari a Lone Ranger's metal lunch pail because I figured that would be a good way to store him in there and something to give him because we grew up with the lunch pail things. And another little story I'll share real quick. When we were kids, because we were latchkey kids and things like that, I remember getting up in the morning and being the one to make our lunches for school. Times at one point were really tough, and we only had the butt ends of the bread, and we had some leftover French bread, and I made myself a ham sandwich, and I made my brother a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the French bread. But I cut the French bread like you would when you're having spaghetti, super thick slices. I didn't think anything of it, you know what I mean? But it was just one of those things that I was just making my lunch. I was doing what I was supposed to do, get us out of the house and get us to the bus stop and get to school. Lunchtime comes around. I eat my lunch, and I'm the first one out to the playground. And I get out there and I see a little kid, and he's crying. And like I stop at the drinking fountain. I was like, oh, I wonder why that kid's crying. And I take a drink of water. And then I start going over there to see who that is. And as I get closer and closer, it's my brother. It's Philip. He's crying. And I'm like, fuck, dude, Phil, what's the matter? You know, are you okay? And he's crying. He's just like, I couldn't eat my lunch. And I'm like, why? He's like, the bread was too big. I couldn't get my mouth around it. So I couldn't eat anything. And he was like, literally, like, he was just crying. I felt like the worst human being in the possible. And I just remember like comforting, like, I'm so sorry, like, you know, let's go get you some lunch from the cafeteria. Let's see if we can find somebody. And I remember taking him over there and doing that. So that was part of my thought in getting him the Lone Ranger lunch pail, was to say, you know, I remember that day, and, you know, like, big brothers are always supposed to take care of their little brothers, and that was something to me that I did that I felt like really bad about. But, you know, I didn't realize I was doing it, you know what I mean? Like, but after that, Philip became known as the sandwich maker in our family, and he was always the
And
one.
every
to make-
sandwich Chris got was a fat ass French
Oh,
fry.
no. I'll do you one better. So anytime, like, I remember
Your brother was not a heavy boy, was he?
no, he was kind of big, but
Was
towards
he?
towards the end, he
No,
got
but
into
during that time.
some bad things, and
During that time he was? 'Cause
No.
I'll tell you
no.
what, as a young man, I would have fucking devoured that.
no, he was
sandwich.
known as comendo, which means I just finished eating and I'm eating again. That's what he was known for. But at the time, it was like, but at any rate, making sandwich. He was the sandwich maker. So anytime I would ask him, "Hey, dude, will you make me a sandwich?" He'd be like, and he'd get this look like, "Yeah, I'll make you a sandwich." And like, ah, shit. So you don't think about it though at the time, because he's like, "Yeah, I'll make you a sandwich," and just kind of like leave it alone. You go to bite into it, and he'd fucking leave the cheese wrapper on your American. So you'd bite, and you pull all the sandwich away, and then all you see is this square, this triangle sticking out of your sandwich where a bite mark and your teeth imprints in it, and the plastic's still on there, and you're just like, motherfucker. Another time, I think I got him back for doing that to me by, I was making a sandwich. He's like, "Hey, will you make me one?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I had to open up a new jar of mayonnaise, and that's when they had the seal. So as I'm putting the lettuce on there, I cracked that seal, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," I put that back in there. And he bit into it, and he's like, "You motherfucker, I know what you're doing." But again, like, those are the things that, like, I'm grateful for those memories. I'm grateful for, you know, the time that him and I had. It sucks now that he's gone, that when things like this come up, memories come up, I can't just share them with them. When I see a show that somewhat triggers me, I don't get really sad. I get just very quiet, and I just have to go, like, try to get my mind away from those heavy thoughts, you know, and the sadness, because that's not what our lives were always about. You know, we had more good times than I think we did bad times, and, you know, that's where I try to reside in when I'm feeling those ways. But yeah, there's challenges when it comes up, so all we can do is cope.
Yeah, I mean, my dad loved a lot of different things. I think the only thing him and I never agreed on was cars. Like, I don't care about mechanics whatsoever. He was always into, like, Monster Garage and that.
Yeah.
That and World Poker Tournament. The World Poker Tournament, when that was huge.
Yeah.
I remember he ordered, like, day one, where it's like, "Do you want to play like the pros? Play now with our brand new ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Have chips and play with your friends while eating chips."
You're all chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Chips.
Oh man, what flavor are they?
like,
He's all
These are-
trying to break them
these
apart because
taste
he
like
thinks they're the
shit.
gold chocolate coins.
But I mean, when he would watch things, I know that when he watched Marvel movies, he was never impressed with them. He's like, "Oh, they're fun. What don't you like about them?" It's too much hope. My dad did not like hope, which, I mean, translates to me pretty simply.
Yeah.
But like, when you watch things now, I think about sometimes while watching it what his reaction would be to Creature Commandos, or what his reaction would be. Like, I just started playing Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Oh shit.
So that whole video game just crashed hard. They stopped doing updates for it, everything, and everybody fucking hated it. Now, Warner Brothers does a really bad thing of all their games have to be on their servers. So it's like an online game. You can play with other people, but, I mean, even when you're playing, you have to be connected to an internet connection, which is fucking stupid. The writing for that video game, the voice acting, everything, just like everything else DC animated, it's fucking top tier.
All right.
Like, it's genuinely fucking funny. It's good. Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot. That's your team. Amanda Waller is the one controlling you, and then you got to go and fight the Justice League. People did not like the way it ended because Harley Quinn kills Batman. Spoilers. But it was, it's one of those things where it was Kevin Conroy's Batman. So all the Arkham games, it's in the same universe. And then when people didn't like that, no. Well, it's an offshoot universe. Oh, all of a sudden, but that was his last recorded project.
Oh shit.
And Conroy's response to that was, it was cool. I played this character for 30 years. It was cool to be the bad guy for once. You know, but people were like, but that's not what I wanted, you know?
Yeah.
My dad would have enjoyed the Suicide Squad one because everything in that game is like Captain Boomerang is trying to kill Flash, of course. But Flash just fought Green Lantern, who's infected by Brainiac. They all get taken over by Brainiac. And he goes to basically slit Flash's throat, and he can't keep him pinned up, so he moves his thing down and he chops off Flash's thumb. And it's just like really unfortunate, dumb shit.
Right.
Batman starts killing everybody. Green Lantern's a fucking nightmare. The only person who doesn't get infected is Wonder Woman, you know, and she's like the last vestige of what's there. But even she realizes like it's done.
Right.
You know, people are gone. Brainiac's winning. And to see how these people are reacting to stuff, my dad, I think when I laugh is because I can hear him making his noises, the dad noises. Just, I know what he's thinking by the sounds. So when I'm sitting there and I'm playing it, in my head I'm having the real conversation of like, oh, he would have totally fucking loved this. I don't know how he would have reacted to King Shark. They make King Shark actually extremely intelligent in this one. So he's a surveyor. Basically, he's coming to study humanity, and then Waller just takes him. And so he's like, well, fucking Amanda Waller, she is a woman to reckon with. You know? But he still has his moments of like, Shark. So it's fun to see that stuff. I mean, other things that are relatable that have come out. What's been on the roster lately?
Well, shit, we got whatchamacallit, Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. They just showed that
looks good.
trailer, dude, and
I have not seen it. You both saw it?
Yeah.
What do you feel about it?
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, dude.
For once in a while. In
Like,
a long time. I'm
they,
excited.
you know, I remember like about 2 years ago, they had that Daredevil project that they were going to put out, and then Feige saw what they were doing. He's like, no, we're not putting this garbage out. We're not putting that out. No, start over. And they took it serious. It looks like they're literally picking up from the third season of The Punisher. So the trailer sets up really cool. Like, it establishes Kingpin is the mayor. He's having a meeting in like a little diner.
Yeah, with Matt.
him and Matt like across the table, and just all the cutscenes, all the fight scenes, everything that they're showing is the same brutality that we saw in the Netflix series. And I think that they're taking it from that perspective of like, look at the shit that we did with Deadpool and Wolverine. It did really well. We can do that in these shows. Like, Echo didn't do as good as they had hoped. It had some good parts, but I think there was that CGI fight scene at like the very beginning episode where it kind of looked really
I think
cheeseball.
after that I was out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, like the world that they're trying to set up with the Kingpin and Hell's Kitchen and all that, it looks really good. And
Bullseye, he doesn't have like his regular costume. It's more like he cobbled it together kind of a thing. But
well, I don't know if this is Bullseye. This is somebody else. It's the Muse.
That's Bullseye is also in it because I saw some like set pics and it was kind of like leaked in there, and I was like, oh, good. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, and I just the is it Frank Miller that did the Daredevil?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Born Again series, that's the one that's
David
pretty much.
Mazzucchelli drew it and Frank Miller wrote that.
And is that seems like it's the story that's most of what the Netflix series was kind of, because like when I was
That's
watching
the vibe I was getting as I was seeing that.
because it shows like him from Foggy. What's her name? Karen. Yeah, so
Karen
it said
and Foggy.
something about like she ends up going off the deep end. She becomes like some actress, gets a couple of good parts, and then she starts falling off the way. Long story short, she ends up in drugs and ends up down in Mexico. She ends up giving up the identity of Matt Murdock to this drug dealer for a hit. And with that information, it ends up getting back to Kingpin. And so then Kingpin has this vendetta against Matt and just takes everything away from him. Takes like pretty much sets him up for, you know, all these crimes and makes Murdoch go crazy basically. And so I'm curious of where they're picking it up, because as I was watching the thing from Common Historian, it gets to a point where it ends, and it's like, well, is that where they're picking up this storyline for this version of Born Again? Because everything that he explained in that video, it seemed like it was all the episodes of, or all the seasons of Daredevil so far. But I'm looking forward to it, and it comes out March? I think it's in March, because this month I don't think we're getting anything. I think it's your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that animated, which doesn't look interesting at all to me.
I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of that just to see what it
I don't
looks
know.
like.
There was a
Most of
gentleman
those
on-
animated shows are pretty. Yeah.
There was a man. I gotta share this because I want to get your guys' opinion on it. This guy was on TikTok and had shared an opinion about how people are going to make fun of the new Green Goblin
Yeah.
because he's black, or Norman Osborn is black.
Oh yeah,
now.
Norman Osborn.
So here, we'll let it go.
I gotta get this out for the racists, get a hold of it and ruin it for everybody. I just watched the new Spider-Man cartoon trailer, and they didn't just make Norman Osborn a nigga. They made him that nigga. And they kept his hair red too. They about to put a poster on every dude who grew up with the nickname Red's wall. Norman has always been wavy, but now Oscorp got a Soul Glow division. I know some people gonna call it pandering, but the only way this could be pandering is if they switch the pumpkin bombs into sweet potatoes. I want Norman to get on that glider and start swinging that thing like he's from South Houston. Marvel, Disney, I'm begging you, if you have any semblance of real pumping through your veins, I need you to make that goblin serum purple and have him drink it out of a double styrofoam cup. I want that man to code switch so fluidly they have to bring Miles Morales on screen to explain it to the white children. Also to the
Wow. Wow.
Wow, you're not
Wow.
laughing very much, Butcher.
Those are my people you're talking about.
I don't take that kindly.
No.
I think that shit's hilarious because the truth is, the one thing that did not happen was people really tripping out about him being a black guy.
Right.
Honestly, it's kind of the same thing with Lex Luthor. It's what do they call it? Race adjacent, where they can kind of be whatever you want them to be.
What do
Nick
they
Fury.
What do they do with Lex Luthor?
Or he's in all the Tinimation universe, he's black, you know, and then in the newer ones, he's white, and so they've always kind of played him on and off. Lex Luthor is a black man in the Tinimation universe, like that is straight up a black dude.
Okay.
Yeah, so people they don't like when they race.
I don't see
characters.
color.
Yes, you do. You fucking liar.
Red, green, blue.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
You're a rainbow dick.
Rainbow dick. What?
But what I love about it is that they have these characters where I get it, man. Like, you don't need to change every character just to fit some narrative, right? But those characters, you believe the character to where, like, you don't hear Mr. Krabs. You hear Lex Luthor. It's the same voice actor. You know what I mean? But even when you have the Lex Luthor now in the Harley Quinn show, the new season 5 just started, you believe Lex is just a piece of shit. You know, Norman Osborn to me is a more shittier version of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
He's just a crazy rich dude. He's crazy though.
Yeah, he's genuinely crazy.
yeah.
Willem Dafoe to me is still the one that plays him best. He is to Green Goblin to what Mark Hamill is to the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. So that being said, it's nice to see that people actually just really accepted this to be like, hey man, it's fun. It's like Spider-Man and Friends. That was meant for little kids.
Yeah.
And you would see people come into the shop being like, oh, my kid loves the Ghost Spider. No one calls her the Ghost
Right.
Spider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're seeing these little children
Sheerans.
in maybe 3 to 9 who are like, oh, I would love a comic. She can't really read it, or she's not really into the stories, but she loves looking at the pages. She loves looking at
She
the
heard
art.
she could flip this for $10. We heard you're the Costco of comics.
So to see what they're going to do with that, it'll be interesting. But the Murdoch thing and the Daredevil, man, I'm interested in it. I love.
You're not really into it, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Are you?
I loved the Netflix series. I did not care for Jessica Jones
Yeah, I, haven't
I
watched that one.
liked the first season of that.
I
I
didn't watch
didn't
any of those ones.
finish the second one.
I just, it was interesting, but it was kind of the same thing as where I think it was that and Luke Cage, or I'm sorry, Daredevil and Luke Cage that I really got into. Punisher was fun, but
Yeah.
I think Punisher was better in Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah,
I really,
yeah, yeah.
I really liked his version.
I love what Bernthal has done with him. But it's funny because you look at that podcast that he does, Bernthal.
Oh yeah,
Real ones.
yeah,
the
and
real
then
ones, yeah.
he sat with what's her face,
the actress who plays Karen Page.
Yeah.
in,
and how
Shit.
she's a really famous D&D.
yeah. She's like a DM. Like she's been doing it like pretty much her whole acting career. Like that's what she does.
Yeah, she makes
On
a
the
living
side, she
off of
makes
writing like
campaigns and
campaigns
stuff.
Oh,
for
really?
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
yeah.
she does. So it's really cool to see how like
Yep.
know their interaction. Watching that interview was just fun for it because obviously you have people like Hunter and others that have suggested it TikTok as well.
Right.
But then it clicked on me when I was trying to learn D&D,
Yeah.
or as I am trying to learn, and I was like, oh shit, it's the Punisher and fucking Karen Page. Oh, that's cool. I think what they've done with the Daredevil franchise is phenomenal. It is the same reason why I agree that Matt Reeves' Batman is the best Batman rendition we've seen that has a consistent thematic
Yeah,
vibe to it.
yeah.
Penguin, everything. Because you are a perfect example of somebody who has read comics, not just collected, you've read them. You know the artists, you know the inkers. And so to see someone put source material on the screen, Zack Snyder famously said, like, when he did The Watchmen, you want to keep it as close to the panel as possible. And although not everybody liked the movie rendition of it, to be honest, if you've read the book and you've actually watched the movie, I like the movie for the condensed version it is. The HBO show that came after, 20
Yeah.
something odd fucking
Yeah.
years almost, did phenomenal. Sister Midnight was fucking rad. What they did with the Hangman was interesting, but I still loved it, and the cinematography on it was beautiful. I think what they're doing with Daredevil is they're taking that long hallway scene, and they're to me it's like fluid imagery.
Yeah.
When you're reading something, you don't see the panel lines.
No.
You're just reading.
You're
and-
in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 You have the movie going in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're absolutely sitting there and you're telling yourself, okay, if I were to break down what makes me feel like I'm watching what I love to read, that is a really good example of it. I think that's why when I go back to the Creature Commando stuff, it is fun for me because when you read how ridiculous the stories can be, that's what they are. I like source material. Harley Quinn, the Harley Quinn show, people give it so much shit. It's a comedy Elseworld thing.
Yeah.
But if I was going to read a comedy and it's coming from Harley Quinn, it makes sense, right? Everything in that goddamn show is out there.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Alan Tudyk has been fucking carrying DC for the past.
Yeah, because he
Ever.
does a couple of different voices in Harley Quinn show, doesn't he?
He's the Joker. He is
Clayface?
Clayface. He plays a few other characters in the background, and then in this new one, he is Dr. Phosphorus for
Yes. Yeah.
Creature Commandos. And I love the fact where a tank drives up to him and
Oh.
he just flips off the tank and it literally goes into a dude's skull.
Right.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
That is absolutely Guardians of the
The
Galaxy
one where he
levels of dumb.
puts a hand behind the guy's
Oh,
mouth
yeah.
and fucking
It just burns
melts
his fucking
through
bottom
it, and it's
jaw.
like,
Let's go.
whoa, fuck yeah.
But I mean, behind it, it's fun to see people stick to a source that feels good. Peacemaker is a really good example of
Yeah.
taking a shot in the dark for something that doesn't necessarily fit that.
I'm so looking forward to the new Peacemaker.
What was Peacemaker to you before it came out? And then when you actually watched it, what was it like?
I really didn't know much about Peacemaker,
Yeah, same.
honestly. And so I went in completely blind and just was super entertained.
Yeah, dude, that
it was
that
so
show.
silly and fun. I loved it.
Yeah, John Cena plays that role very well. Like like we said, there's certain actors that take on that role, and once they assume that role, that's all you see that person as. It's kind of typecasting, obviously, but it's because that personality and the way that they approached being that character fit so well that you try to look at somebody else trying to do that it's not going to have the same hit.
When Vigilante came on, because I have like the first appearance of Vigilante, and I was collecting Vigilante. I thought he was a cool character. I don't really remember reading a lot of the issues, but I mean, I had a shitload of them, and I was like, this guy's badass. And then for him on the show, he's a complete weirdo.
Yeah.
you know?
But I think that's what the best part about it is.
Yeah.
He's what Deadpool kind of could have been at some point before they made him Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
verbatim. But I love the idea of when he says, when he's trying to take out the senator and he realizes, oh, fuck, I got to kill kids.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, they're aliens. He goes, what if you're wrong? I can't I can't shoot a kid, dude. I just can't do that. And fucking Vigilante just goes, I got this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like you guys. I don't have a conscience. And he's just chilling. And I'm like, give that actor and anyone else moving forward. Charlie Cox is a really phenomenal actor. But what's crazy about a guy like him is I remember him from Boardwalk Empire. Like way back in the
wow.
day.
Charlie Cox. Which guy is that?
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was the Irishman.
Right.
You know, and then they were like, oh my God, this guy's going to have his big break because he was like the guy who could get it done.
He's a philanderer.
And then they just fucking 2 episodes later find him in a box chopped up. And you're like, oh, well, nice to know you, Mr. Cox.
Hey, because he
Cox in
didn't
a
see
box.
that coming.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's a phenomenal show, dude. And then years later, seeing him as Daredevil, I feel like you need to have people that you don't have expectations for.
See, I saw Daredevil first, and then I saw Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, Punch and Matt.
It's me in Atlantic City. Oh.
Where's my potatoes?
I don't know. I feel like if Daredevil's going to do anything else well, No Name says it's Bullseye and Muse
Yeah.
are the two.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything well in Marvel moving forward, you need to have no-name actors. I mean, here's the funny thing. You could give a lot more history on this than I can, but people... when did the Marvel Cinematic Universe start? Like Iron Man.
Technically, so
Technically, it would have been the Incredible Hulk. Cause
Right,
that's
but
what
we're
we said,
talking Iron Man.
Iron Man was 2008
9?
or 9. 2008 or 9.
Cool. So from that time moving forward, there was everyone being like, Marvel for life, fuck DC, fuck this, fuck that.
they're boring.
But not to be misconstrued that DC owned the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
You could not go anywhere without a Jose Luis Garcia fucking set of Batman or Justice League, Bruce Timm, whatever. In the 80s, it was a back and forth. The only thing that saved Marvel from bankruptcy was the goddamn X-Men or Spider-Man. Everything else was good, but I mean, it wasn't reaching to the levels that they were selling.
Right.
But on TV, DC all the way. So when Marvel came out of its shell, people for the next 10 to 11 years were like, oh my God, Iron Man's the shit. Captain America's the shit.
2008.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
So now the newer edition is like, look at all these fucking ghetto characters. They're pulling from nothing. I hate it. No, you don't. The fact of the matter is that for how long was Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Captain America, and Hulk D-list characters for a lot of people?
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit about Captain America.
no one
No.
cared about Thor at all.
Nobody. Dude, the immortal Thor is one of the easiest fucking Silver Age comics to find because nobody took care of him. Nobody liked him. Spider-Man was your guy.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part. X-Men was your team for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
So the idea that people are like, oh, they don't pull any A-list characters anymore. Bro, you were given D-list characters that became A-list characters. If you don't believe that can still be done, why is James Gunn taking Guardians? How popular was Guardians when you were growing up?
Not at all. And it wasn't until Jim Valentino kind of brushed the dust off of him and then, brought him back. That was around when that Dark Hawk and all that kind of came up. But even then, it was struggling. It wasn't like it was anything really good.
Out of all the team, who was probably the most read out of all that? You think, like, by and large, if you were going into John's shop as a kid and you're watching...
Well, I mean,
you worked in his shop.
Yeah, so Guardians wasn't even the team that it is.
No. I'm
now,
sorry.
but-
Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
You were how old when you started working at a comic shop?
I was 16.
Perfect. You're 16 years old. You guys are what, 4 years apart?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are 12.
He's 12.
Yeah.
So you guys are both going into a comic shop, toy shop at the time. What were the toys and what were the comics, Marvel-wise, that you think would have sold the most on a weekly basis?
Well, I know like the toys that were Marvel were the Secret Wars toys
yeah.
at the time.
And those were hard to find.
They were really hard to find.
That wasn't like you could just go and get, because like at the time you got to remember what was dominating: Star Wars, and
My
then the movies were
father.
gone. And
Transformers.
Transformers, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Like those were.
John had a shitload of Transformers back at the Camry Rail Shop.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wonder he still has to have some of that shit, man.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's got 3 stores worth of stuff
Yeah, yeah.
in his house.
Yeah.
I know it.
Jonathan.
Get the bags out.
Jonathan.
JD.
Yes. I am coming for you, Jonathan. So Secret Wars was the hot shit.
Yeah.
And then comic-wise, what was
But
hot?
also G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe figures were like really
Because I
hot.
remember like DC started to put out their superpowers collection.
Yes.
So like you could
that was
find,
also around the same time.
you could find those a lot
Yeah.
more easier than you could anything Marvel. Like that's
I feel like those started gaining more traction though around 89 when Batman came out, because they started
Yeah.
putting out the Batman carded toys, and then they were relaunching a lot of the superpowers
Yeah,
line.
that's true.
And they had I remember going to Woolworth on Alvarado, which is now CVS,
Right.
or Walgreens or whatever, and they had fucking these slim cards that was basically the figure, and the card was so they could just go bap, 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 bap. And I remember buying like several Batmans. I bought some Riddlers and a couple Robins, and then
Do you still have a lot of that?
I fucking customized.
No, but do
them,
you
and-
still have them is a question.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we were lucky a while back. Somebody donated toys for the toy drive.
That's right.
And they were really expensive Japanese toys. And we were like, cool, man of our word. Like, we're going to do what they asked us to. We ended up donating them, and then it wasn't until the people we donated to were like, hey, dude, like, we'll take all this, and we'll take a few of these, but this stuff, what is it? So we told them, and they were like, no, you guys have the toy museum. Put it in there. We're donating it to you now.
Right.
Because 5-year-olds are not going to
Yeah.
appreciate this. And I think part of history is looking at things, even modified, to see what that was. You know what I mean? There's people that, they take other people's work and they rip it off and they put it together and mash it and then try to sell it as really high-end art.
Yeah.
But, the reality is like there's a difference as...
That was a Jay and Silent Bob moment.
Yeah, it was. We broke the fourth wall.
Exactly. Hey, who the fuck's watching these kids? This little one's watching the fat one.
Hey, good panting. Keep on trucking. Hey, fuck you.
Fuck you, you fucking square.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking guy trying to tell me how to fucking raise you.
my
What the
fucking
fuck?
kids.
Hold on, sit outside while I go get some drugs.
But I mean, the mod part of that and the hodgepodging, I think, is a big part of the history of it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But back to the point is, if you were to see comics going out the door weekly, what would be the titles? What year would you be in 16?
So that was 87.
Yeah.
Perfect. So 87. What is flying off the shelves? You think?
Ninja
Shit,
Turtles,
I want
right?
to say, I mean,
When did Turtles hit? 86?
Turtles actually came out in 83 technically, but 84 was when I got my hands on them for the first time.
But at 87,
So
was
80
the movie out by then? I'm trying
Oh
to
no,
know.
no, that was 89. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Turtles hadn't really hit that crescendo yet. God, what was selling those days? Well, okay, I could tell you this: Amazing Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane days. So like, I remember stacks of 300 Amazing Spider-Man, and of course I grabbed 3 of them. And those were the days like Crisis, Watchmen,
Executioner song.
all those days of just the fucking good stuff. Those were good years.
But so in those days, you're seeing more of X-Men and Spider-Man go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. DC, you saw Swamp Thing move. Alan Moore was
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff.
That's true.
You were seeing Watchmen go out, but those were like the Vertigo titles
Right.
and everything.
Regular DC. Well, you had Dark Knight that came out when I was a freshman, so it was like a little bit before. I mean, I was at that comic store 3 days a week. I'd walk from Monterey High over to Cannery Row religiously just to be there, just to be around comics,
Right.
and be around John and his little brother, or his older brother Jimmy.
Little
he was
brother.
little Jimmy. But yeah, so many good memories, man.
The thing is that most of what people are seeing now, they give a lot of shit to, like, who cares about these characters? You know, I think it's just really terrible writing that gives it a bad rap because, dude, why would you give a fuck about Weasel? But you do,
Yeah,
like you do Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
When you see his episode in Creature Commandos.
Well, check this out. Sometimes I would go get torrents for specific years of comics. So it would be every comic that came out chronologically for the month and the year for Marvel, for
Right.
instance. And I'm looking at this list of what actually came out, and it's crazy because they threw so much shit at the wall just trying to sell something. It was just all kinds of oddball shit you'd never heard of. Like now, I'm looking at a 1976 March, and it's like, what? What is that? What is that? So I would, get these things and look at them and go, oh, that's why this is nothing. But then, there's those classic things that are mixed in there. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
But yeah, it's like they would shotgun blast fucking tons of shit. And that was like that then, too. You had, what was it, fucking Mad Dog or some shit. The guy wore a ski mask or a hockey mask.
The one that was part of the weeklies. So it was the Action Comics Weekly presents, and it was the one specifically where he has the American flag behind him, where he drops the hard R, and it was a banned comic after a while. If you ever Action Comics Weekly, do not remember the number off the top of my head. But we had quite a few issues we got through, like these collections. And I was going through Key Collector at the time when I was still kind of learning the oddball ends. And this one always came up like $45. I go, for this? Why? Banned comic for using a racial slur off the top of it. So I read through it, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And it's not like a soft pronunciation. It's a hard.
It's a soft A.
Yeah.
No, hard R.
Oh no. And because of that, I'm like, oh shit. And then they didn't really do anything. He was a really shitty version of Casey Jones.
Yes.
Yes, that's all he was.
Yep. Exactly. He was exactly that.
Yeah.
I never read that comic. I was like, this looks like shit.
And it was. I mean, it's no mole.
I think it was called I think it was called Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Mad
Yeah,
Dog,
yeah. And the only Mad Dog we had on the streets was
It's
from 7-Eleven.
2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was this? Some stupid fucking person goes, I don't want Haktua. I want a Pac-Man. And the guy goes, what's that mean? He's a waka 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 waka. So, no. So seeing like the new stuff come out, you have to give chances to new properties.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman's killing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute Superman, Wonder Woman. Just recently released Sakamoto Days.
Oh yeah, that is a fun show, and I can't watch that and not see you. I don't know what, and I don't mean that badly. It's just
I know what you're talking about
it's
because
like-
I was watching Netflix and that screen popped up and I'm like,
it's
eating
just
a bowl of noodles, huh?
yeah. He's just very calm and just like very collected. And even when like there's action scenes, he does his shit, and the way he does it is very skilled, very tactical, but just very like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't talk very much. And the guy that he's running with, Shin, he's a clairvoyant, so he can whatever you're thinking, he hears it. And it's funny because like the first time he meets Mr. Sakamoto, he's like sit there to try to kill him. And then there's a situation that happens where this customer comes in and he's getting ready to like beat the shit out of a little kid that spilt all his ink out of his backpack and got it on this customer's like white pants, and he's getting ready to kill this kid. And what does he say something to him about how because he was gonna snatch him, And he just calls him out. He's like, "Hey, why is everything that I do, you always want to kill me for it, or something like that?"
Well, no. You're confusing. You're confusing.
I'm confusing two parts. I know.
Yeah, the other one. So basically, this came out. I remember hearing about Sakamoto Days back in like 2021 when I first got on TikTok. There was somebody who was like, "Check out this manga. If you like this, you should check out this." That's when I found out about Go Go Loser Ranger.
Yep.
And he goes, "But if you like Way of the House Husband, this is what it's based off of." And Sanzu and I definitely loved Way of the House Husband, which is funny. Do you know what that is? So Way of the House Husband is an ex-assassin from the Yakuza who finds this woman who is basically a businesswoman, and she runs the house. So he is the homemaker, and he runs into other triads or Yakuza, and they are kind of retired, not retired, but they still live by the old rules. So he goes out to like buy mochi, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the good stuff. This is the good powder. This right here, we can make, I don't know, 40, 50 kilos.
Yeah.
Easy." And so it sounds like really sketchy. And they're making boba.
Yeah.
They're making mochi ice cream or something. And the whole episode is about them having gang wars over their 2 food carts. So they're just parodies of like whatever it is. Sakamoto Days is about this guy who was the John Wick of his world. Best assassin, yada yada yada, does everything. Meets this woman and eventually
Instantly falls in love. Like, it just changes his world. Like,
yeah, that's how you know it's not me.
Yeah.
And so then 100% goes into it, and then they're telling his story about how he just murders everybody. Then he gets to a point where he meets this woman, and they're like, "All right, cool. We're gonna open up a convenience store and work at it." And then he just gets really fat, and so he left the underworld behind. So they make his old partner have to come and kill him 7 years later, and the kid comes in, and after what you're seeing what happens, you kind of realize he's just big chunky dude who doesn't speak much. So the clairvoyant comes in, this kid spills something, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The guy gets mad. Sakamoto kind of puts the guy in his place, and then, whatever, I'm leaving. Other dude comes in, and he goes to raise the gun and shoot at Sakamoto. This is the old partner, Shin. So Shin goes, and the guy, Sakamoto's chewing on like a gumball. He goes and fires the bullet, and then he spits out the bullet, and it deflects the fucking bullet, and he just moves really fast. So the whole premise is he's basically John Wick, but he can't kill or his wife will divorce him.
Yep.
Because he loves his wife.
Yep.
He has a daughter now, everything, doing his thing. And so it's funny because Sanzu was the one on top of like the amount of DMs I got where it's like, "It's you.
Yep.
It's Sacred 8 the fucking thing." I'm like, I love that. Everyone just makes it. The whole joke is that he's really fat. They're surprised he can move. Come on.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect. It is absolutely.
It's my jeans. They're too small.
I didn't do this. Look at me, the cup of noodles. But it's
I bought
fun.
all of this.
It's fun. I think it's. I put it on par with Dandadan.
Yeah.
In the sense of, it's just fun. Dandadan, I think, is written better. Personally,
Yeah.
but we've only seen so much as far as the anime goes. The manga is their own competition. But I really enjoy it because the temperament of having to be an adult, right? You as a young guy wanting to fight the world, you as a young guy, myself as a young guy, and then you have people around you where you're seeing the piss and vinegar of a 20-year-old go out there, and you're like, "All right, calm down," because you have something to lose now. You have actual things to go for. And they do it in a way where everyone just has piss and vinegar, and the guy's like, "Listen, dude, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to do it. I don't want to hear fuck all about it." And my favorite thing has been when they call him fat in the warehouse, and he's just chilling there. And then they were like, "All right, we're going to kill him. Get them both." And his feet go into the ground, and like it breaks.
Yeah.
Like Goku. And then he just moves, oh, fuck.
Oh, dude. It is a good show. And
I'll have to
new
give that a
episodes are
chance.
always Saturdays, so if you get a
Yeah.
chance, check it out, because
We don't get to see him on Saturdays because of card night. but
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They are totally worth it. I think you would really enjoy it. It's just, it mirrors very much like us.
Yeah.
You and I specifically. because we're so similar. But I mean, you would appreciate it from the daughter aspect of where all this dude does, good, bad, in between. It's like, I do this for my kid.
Yeah.
It's for my family, but like his kid is his priority, because episode 2 is about the meat buns.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like the entire time, all this chaos is going around,
And he's
like,
just concerned about the
what he takes home to his daughter,
Right.
And that's what eventually involves him in being like, "Listen, dude, like I'm trying to get home," and these assassins are like, "Well, we're gonna kill you." So they do the swing, and he just deflects
Yeah.
it. He goes, "I said I need to go home."
yeah, man.
What else has been? What else? Has
Well, we got Captain America next month, dude, and ticket sales are already just like it's nowhere near where Quantumania is.
That movie
So-
seemed like it should have been released like 8 months ago.
It was supposed to come out last summer. They pushed it back.
God.
They've gone through I don't even know how many different reshoots. I think at this point,
Does anyone sitting here give two shits about this movie?
not really. Like I want to see it because I know that there's going to be some new connectivity, because after what happened with Deadpool and Wolverine, that's what's now getting him to change the narrative. They're having to do a lot of change focus, because they got to figure out what they're going to do with fucking Kang, because that's first and foremost. The multiverse thing, it's not working, so they need to figure a way to end it, get us to Doomsday, and then get us to Secret Wars, and then after Secret Wars is what's going to open up the Mutant Saga, because that's kind of what they're trying to set up for.
I'll be dead by then.
probably.
I'm not looking forward to Captain America, but I will watch it, because I know that, again, like most of the older movies, it looks like they're trying to go back to their old ways. There's the connectivity, so you do want to watch so you can see what's going to happen, because Thunderbolts, honestly, that is the one Marvel movie I am actually really looking forward to seeing, because again, it's villains, it's the bad guys, and they're putting it's Marvel's Suicide Squad, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I want to see these characters again. Like I enjoy Bucky, I love what's her name, Yelena, the new Black Widow, and Red Guardian. Like their team up together is great. The What If episode that they had that put the young Red Guardian and young Winter Soldier together, that was a fun, like, bad
I
cop
forgot
buddy.
that was even out.
Yeah, so like that's kind of why I'm like, I do want to see it, but I don't know what their real plan is at this point for that movie, but it's got to come out, and they just got to put it out there. To release it on all days on February 14th, like Valentine's Day, did they do that because of Red Hulk, or do they do that because it's like, hey, maybe your girlfriend will take you to the movie and let you see something instead of the normal rom-com that you're gonna have to go sit
The
through.
Notebook
But,
4.
yeah.
Am I interested in seeing it? No. I'll be honest, man. I feel so bad about how they're treating Sam Wilson.
Yeah.
Because the Anthony
Mackie.
actually really good actor who I think stands on his own pretty well if given the chance. He's like a wish dog. He's like if you were trying to draw
Timu Cap.
he's like if you're trying to draw Will Smith from fucking memory, right? Like if you look at his face.
All I can
you're
see
like,
is him in 8 Mile.
I never watched it.
Oh, really?
Spaghetti.
But when you put
He
him
went to a real good school. He's not a gangster.
when you see him next to Bucky, they have a great dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal dynamic. I'm interested in seeing Bucky and Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing him with Red Guardian, because I think, again, these are the Jesus years for Marvel.
Yeah.
They've taken almost, how long has it been since Endgame?
It's like
2011?
almost-
No.
No. Like 6 years. It's
6
like
years?
five
About
or
6 years.
Okay, cool. So they've taken 6 years hiatus from continuity. They've tried to do all these pods, and then they're trying to kind of like with overlapping in like bomb warfare. If enough things roll over, they'll eventually connect. Where the original ones were like, no, it's linear.
Yeah.
And now it's not working. White Vision is barely coming into this.
Yeah.
Anti-Vision, and people are like, okay, he's been gone for how long since WandaVision?
2019, 2020.
Yeah, and a lot's happened since then. So, I don't know. I feel like the hype of what has gone isn't going to keep a lot of people around. Thunderbolts will be their attempt at creating Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad without James Gunn. If they can land that shit, good for them. If they can't land it, then they're gonna have, if they fuck up the Thunderbolts, dude, they're gonna have a really rough time.
Yeah.
Because comedy is part of Marvel's shtick. You know what I mean? That guy's playing Gal Gadot. No, this and that, blah, blah. The only one I've never really cared for is Kat Dennings. You know? But I don't like her in anything. Thor, she was with Natalie Portman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never liked her in anything. Like, she's annoying.
Well, they hooked her up with Howard the Duck in the What If episodes
And
from the
she's still
previous
annoying.
season. And in this season, they had the two of them had a baby that had an egg, and it was like a whole episode. So they birthed a character named Birdie in the new Marvel universe, and
Interesting.
yeah. Oh, the whole episode is, yeah.
But
I'm excited to see Fantastic Four. I don't really care about anything up until that.
I would say when it comes to Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, I'm interested in. And that's pretty much it. Like, I'll be honest, Marvel and DC have really... they make me appreciate working around comics and getting to tattoo them or draw them or whatever it is. But I've lost a lot of excitement. Like how you said, you used to walk from high school to a comic book shop and you needed to be in that environment.
3 times a week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me is where I feel a lot about properties. Like Nosferatu was supposed to be this really fucking cool thing, but kind of like the Green Knight and everything else. If you like artistic things, you'll like this.
Right.
If you don't like artistic things, you will definitely not like this. It was beautifully done. It's just, if you want to see vampire dick, there you go. Nosferatu. That's the plot.
Download.
Yeah. Honestly, if you take away anything from that, that's all you really hear. That's all you hear. Not the beautiful fucking setup, not the way that they light the goddamn movie, not the way they do the costume design, not the way that they placate it just the way that it needs to be. You just hear vampire dick. So it's like, I feel that Marvel really did a good job of trying to play serious cinema that allowed chuckles in between. So you had a good balance. Then it just went straight into like, what if everything was just family friendly? All right, well, ABC and Friends doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah.
What if we went super dark, like what was it, a Secret Invasion? And then it just landed flat, and you're like, all right, well, that doesn't work either. You can't have something be serious when it can't be taken serious to begin with, which is why Daredevil is the only other option out of the other two that I'm looking at and saying, cool. If you can't stick the landing on Daredevil, which is going to consolidate your ground level. You guys remember earlier in the podcast where I said that Marvel is a tree and it has to do this and this. Like you have your they're going to do the Young Avengers, then you have your street level, and your tie from that is your Daredevils to the Heroes for Hire and the Defenders, and you have Spider-Man being the connector to the Avengers. Those are your superheroes. Those guys go to all the way to the God arcs. You have your Thors, you have your Guardians of the Galaxies. That goes into your Celestials. Your Celestials eventually end up in horror. And what happened in Loki 2 years later? A fucking tree.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're planting new seeds that are sprouting, and the roots have to be tied, but they just have to be in a bush. They're not necessarily a tree. If you cannot land Daredevil as a street level hero that can still visually talk to someone like Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and who can be that bridge, if you do not land Thunderbolts, which are now the anti-hero Avengers,
Right, the Dark Avengers, basically,
Yeah.
but not the true Dark Avengers. Because
If you can't land those two, how the fuck are you going to land anything with Fantastic Four, which can go the full spectrum?
Yeah.
They can talk to street level and they can go to Galactus level.
Right.
None of that is going to work if they don't land these three properties. And the sad part about it is the one that they're trying to push right now is Hulk and Captain America.
Yeah.
And there's literally no real heavy advertisement for this.
Yeah.
That's how little faith they have in that one seed. So they're going to stick it in the center where all these other things are like, yeah. Look at how big the fucking bush is. And in the middle is this really nasty weed, which is no fault to Anthony Mackie.
Right.
Which is no fault to Harrison Ford or the teams that work really hard on it. It's their last cash grab of like family fun, but they're probably so far into it that they can't pull back.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, I'm hoping that with the Daredevil series coming out, I'm hoping that it gives street level hero and what they're trying to do with this, the spotlight that it needs, so that maybe it will actually convince fucking Sony to keep Spider-Man as a grounded street level hero. Like, to hear that at one point they thought the idea for the Spider-Man 4 movie was going to include Daredevil into it because they were going to use the elements of what they were going to do in the TV series to try to create that world. Because to me, that's what I remember Spider-Man doing. He was always swinging around New York, helping out there. It was very rare that I remember ever seeing him do anything in the animated shows where he went off to space. The only time that ever happened was at the end of the Spider-Man animated series on Fox, when they did the Secret Wars, when they actually attacked that, and they even did the Spider-Verse after that one. So to me, it was like, I want to see Spider-Man get this street level love that he deserves. Especially, like, one of the things that gets me was the line that Garfield says in that movie, No Way Home, when he says that, you know, for a while there, after everything that happened with Gwen, he just stopped holding back. He just stopped holding back his punches and just started becoming a fucking dark Spider-Man. I want to see that. I want to see the reason why. What was he doing that made him go dark? Who was he out with? You know what I mean? That's a good tie-in of, like, Spider-Man and Daredevil figuring out some shit that's going on where they have to work together. You know what I mean? Especially since they're both vigilantes. One is a vigilante that beats the shit out of people almost to the end of their life, where the other one just tries to subdue him with his webs and doesn't really...
He jokes him to death.
Yeah, jokes him to death. So that's my hope, is that, you know, that Sony starts to see this and pulls back and not trying to do what they're trying to do, which is get another No Way Home. Yeah. You know, and get that kind of Marvel money in that multiverse, which, let's be honest, dude, unless that story really hits, it's just gonna fail. So I don't know.
No, I mean, I agree. I feel like what was fun about Spider-Man, I've been going back and watching while I'm, like, working on projects, Midnight Mass, Bly Manor, all the horror anthologies from Netflix. I have finally hit this point in my life, like your father, where I'm starting to rewatch things. And I'm like, because I've never been a guy that likes rewatching.
Right,
stuff.
you don't.
Yeah,
I've always been if I love something, I'll watch it again and again.
I can hear it, but I don't really necessarily go for it, right? So Sanzu and I just finished last night.
And I forget a lot of things that I've seen in there, and it's like, I'm
still a young-ish buck, you know? It's like a proud stag that limps on one side. But no, the thing is we just finished the last movie for Harry Potter last night, and I was thinking to myself, like my old buddy Shelby, I miss her to death, man. I haven't spoken to her in years. We moved in different directions. Right. But her and her partner, I remember growing up when she was young, she was like one of the first gay friends I ever had. And she was obsessed with Twilight, and she was obsessed with Harry Potter. And it was like every fucking year was this big thing of, like, what's going to happen and he who should not be named. And I was thinking about it and how much I enjoy seeing Sanzu enjoy it. And realizing I never really watched these movies. I've always heard them, like, in the background, but I've never actually sat and watched them. I was like, holy shit, all right, cool. And to experience it years later again, I'm like, man, that's kind of sad. Seeing an end of an era. Yeah. You know, you had Lord of the Rings, you had The Matrix. There was, every property was huge at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
So when Civil War kind of came up, I was like, maybe I'll just give it a shot again. And I watched Civil War, and I was like, God, this is a really fucking good movie. Because when Spider-Man's introduced as Underoos, everybody lost their shit. And then as he's fighting, you're riding this high of... oh my God, it's Spider-Man. I can't believe, because, let's be honest. And
that was a big deal.
Yeah. No name to you and everyone else that is young. There was a time where you couldn't imagine two main characters in a movie, let alone that many, and then have him, which was with his moving eyes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you're riding this high in the movie of, like, oh my God, we would have never gotten this as kids. And then he goes, hey guys, you remember that really old movie where they have the aliens? And then he talks about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And watching people, I don't know why, like, in the crowd around me at that time, and watching these dudes on this high, And then it's like, oh, they're calling me old. Oh, that's even fucking funnier. Oh, and it's like a bounce effect of just it hit every note that you could have wanted. Like when Blade came out in Deadpool, you saw people lose their shit because even me, where I was like, that is fucking cool.
He's back from Africa. He's gonna pay his taxes. Oh shit!
Just to see Snipes be like, there's only ever gonna be one Blade.
Yeah.
and
then Deadpool looks at this. Yeah.
like to see that is a nice win, and the sad part about it is there hasn't really been a heavy franchise or a heavy conviction in things that when something like that happens, you feel like, that's for us.
Yeah.
That's for me. So anime gets this really big pass because it's a story being told in a book format that's going to happen regardless of a show likes it or not.
Right.
So you can go ahead and go to the book format and you can go over here, but manga doesn't really bend to the will of people. It's to the creator or the publishing house. These movies are based off of comics for sure, but they're so altered that the audience reaction and the investors' reaction has an absolute sway over what's going on. So I feel like if these three properties do not move forward, you're gonna have a really bad time. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But what else we got to talk about before the end of the episode?
I don't know. Just the DC world. We could talk a little bit about that. I mean, I'm hearing grumblings about the Superman movie that there's already been some screenings and it's not looking good. Like it's another it's a great Superman movie, but it's not a wow factor that I think that everybody was expecting. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna do the same thing like
Suicide Squad.
Not Suicide Squad, but you know what? I'll say it might even be as much as like what Wolverine and Deadpool was. Like they didn't expect it to be as good as it was. There's a lot of cameos in it because I think that's what Gunn is looking to do. It seems like more and more of these characters that are in the movie that are like the D-listers, C-listers, they're going to get their time to shine. Like it made me think like why does he have to have Guy Gardner Green Lantern? Why not Hal Jordan? You know, why does he have to have
because Guy Gardner is more interesting. He's an asshole.
See, and again, I wouldn't have known that because for me, who's my Green Lantern? Hal Jordan. That's the one that I always grew up knowing and seeing, and so that's a.
See, mine's John.
Oh,
because I grew up with him from the cartoons. So like
from the Tim animation
for Tim animation universe. So like when I see Hal, I'm like, oh, Hal's cool, but John gets it done. You know, architect and a fucking Marine. You're like, let's go, baby.
See, I grew up with Hal because of the 70s and everything.
The Jeff Johns run, right? Or what's his
face?
No,
Neil Adams.
Neil Adams.
Yeah. And was it Denny O'Neil? Yeah, when he and
no, Jeff Johns is the Flash.
Jeff Johns is a writer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm thinking of the writing, not the art.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I feel bad because for me, Christopher Reeves was the Superman I got to see on the big screen. For my dad's generation, it was the what's it called? The TV show, the 50s.
It was George Reeves.
You know, so that was his Superman. And you've had Brandon Routh, you've had Cavill, and now you got
Brandon
this
Routh was never Superman in my book.
No, I mean, they did good by trying to make him look like Christopher Reeve, and then because they were trying to pick up from the second one kind of thing, which I got,
Kevin
Spacey as Lex. But we'll see. But as far as like the DC, like I feel bad because part of me does want to see DC have some good movies, like finally do something. Like they were talking about, well, why do you think Flash didn't do well? Well, Flash didn't do well for a lot of reasons. Number one, nobody cared about that Flash, that version of Flash, because it was already so far beyond the Snyderverse and everything that had already happened. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have your fucking the guy that was playing Flash just all the shit that he was doing, all the trouble that he was getting,
Yeah.
kind of brought a bad connotation to it.
It's like knowing you're going to quit at the end of the day, and it's your last 2 hours of the shift. There was no effort in
Yeah.
that.
I had that the other day.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to DC Comics.
So,
But I mean that to me is where we've known a few people that were praising the Flash movie.
yeah.
And it's like, cool, man. I know who absolutely is a sucker when I see it. But it was just fun. There was nothing fun about how terrible that looked. Nothing. But I get it because like
No, the babies.
the
Yeah.
GL was a really good example of he loves Superman. He
Right.
thinks that Superman Adventures is better than Batman the Animated Series. But that's his opinion.
Right.
Albeit wrong. No, the fact that he loves it, it's true though, because that's the beautiful part about DC that I think Marvel does not land well. Marvel is really bright, and there's a blanket of pocket of what everybody. It's your version of going to a burger joint, and you like a teriyaki burger, you like a portobello burger, and I like a bacon burger. That's cool, but they're all burgers,
Right.
just with different toppings. That's what Marvel is. DC's going to a buffet and you just get a different dish every time.
Right.
So Superman's type of flavor is going to appeal to people who like something brighter, warmer, and more inviting. You know, it's like a really comfortable soup. Batman's just like really fucking raw rockfish that you're like, well, sashimi's not bad. So having that, I think it's hard because he's absolutely right. You need to land Superman really well so you have an idea of how good this world can be, but how fucked up it is. Like
Right.
it's not Superman being the strongest man on earth. It's how fucked up everything is and how one dude can't just put people in their place like a dictator.
Yeah.
And then how Batman's like, well, you can't be everything. Then you have this and that. But the problem is he's never written a A-tier character. We've never seen him write anybody that actually matters.
Right.
In the idea of what we expect out of anybody. Who cares about fucking King Shark? Well, I care about him. I like this. I like that. Yeah.
Or Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
yeah.
But you only care about him after it's already been made popular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is where people, if they're getting lackluster, Pep didn't like Wolverine Deadpool. He was like, could have been better. I was expecting more. And I agree with him. There was some stuff where I was
Yeah.
like, really? You could have just done, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right.
I still gave it a high score. I think it's going to be hard though because you're really pulling D-tier characters and B-tier characters together, and you're asking yourself, how important are these?
Well, and that's the thing is his reasoning for bringing these characters in is that they're not just one-off cameos. Like that everybody that we're going to see in this movie is going to have a place and a reason for being in it. So it's kind of like I that's why I want it to succeed, because like I don't know who Mr. Terrific is, but I've seen a couple of episodes where he's been involved, and so I'm like, oh, okay. I've seen a couple of what's the last one that I saw, not Doom, Apocalypse, War on Apocalypse or something like that. I remember, but anyway, again, I have this hope that for Superman that actually does something, but with these characters that he has that he's introducing. He says that they're not just one-offs. They're going to have a reason to be in there. So that's kind of cool. But at the same time, why are all these C and D listers in a Superman movie if you're trying to give Superman relevance back into the world and you got all these other characters that are outside? It's like
The only reason I would have, from a reader's point of view, I think that you could agree, is like your kid. How many times have your kids trashed their rooms, like toys wise?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
See what I mean?
yeah.
So like you immediately laughing or saying that
Yeah.
is what's funny is when you have that idea and you as a parent go in, there are days where you do not want to put up with the shit, and there's days where you're like, all right, come on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Come on. You're not trying to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I think what you're seeing and how he's established DC, because DC has officially started with the Suicide Squad. Then the continuation of Suicide Squad, or the Suicide Squad, is Creature Commandos. It's part
Yeah.
lineage.
Yeah.
So now this is where we go next. So everything is continuity. So in this world, Amanda Waller's version of justice is justice. Batman's there. We've seen him officially now in Creature Commandos. And he after you see what happens with one of the characters, one of the villains that is Batman's, and how brutal he is, you're like, dude, if that's how they're fucking playing that guy, this Batman has to be like a fucking bruiser to take that kind of dude on. So in this entire ethos of what they're kind of making their characters about, Superman's like a parent / he is kind of like a stepbrother walking into a house that is already established in chaos, but you're the oldest and you're like, oh shit, well, we can make things better. That's not how the world works, man. And you're testing that dude and how he's trying to be kind, and why he's in the snow where you have this fucking super dog. Crypto. Why you have him there and everything is because what if he went to somebody who's like, I can be your friend, and someone's like, fuck you, boom. He's really going to have to be tested, at least how I think, by good doesn't exist in Gotham. Good doesn't exist in Metropolis or Star City. But he's like, no, I'm not here to be good. I'm here to give hope. So you're watching a guy slowly have to clean shit off a floor. That's going to be more interesting because like actual TikTok videos of people cleaning things while fucking temple runs happening on the bottom. It's making it more interesting to be like, okay, well, if all these characters are going to be shitty, what is the path that he has to take to mature as a superhero, but not become Injustice Superman, become the fucking Elon Musk of fucking DC. You have to go into work.
I got to get going for work
cool.
soon. But
at a place that doesn't have a lot of inventory.
Not a lot of inventory right now.
No Pokemon.
No Pokemon.
Yeah, no Pokemon.
Still no Pokemon. I think I got like 2 packs left of the 2 Legends. So.
Okay. Yeah. What are your guys' picks for the week?
My nose.
I'm surprised you didn't say your butt. Go ahead.
No, I can't.
Yeah. I'll just recommend Ultimate Wolverine because I said that last week. We still have a couple issues left. Pick it up because that was actually a fun read. I don't want to spoil any of it, but I'm liking where these Ultimate stories have started to pick up. I still haven't gotten into Ultimate X-Men, but all the other ones they're hitting. But this one especially was like, wow, that's a change. And then there's another book that came out that I missed, and I wish I would have grabbed the issue. Was Magic. I had no idea who this character is.
Fuck you, Rivers. I can hear you laughing. The Magic Order?
No, not that one.
Magic is Colossus' sister.
Ileana or something like that.
Ileana Rasputin.
And,
Rasputin.
Yeah, so they just released that one, and I didn't pick up the issue, but I've been hearing a lot of buzz about that one, so check that one out. As far as shows to watch, fucking Sakamoto Days, dude. That's one I just can't wait for the next episode. I've actually watched the 2 episodes that they're playing right now a couple times because it's a fun show. Yeah, of course. It's a comfort thing. Yeah. And as far as listening, I don't know. Listen to your elders. Nothing. I don't know. That's it.
Everyone's all boo. Yeah. Boo this man.
Boo.
No cap.
No cap. That's right.
Anything for you?
No, just okay. I'll have some next week.
Okay.
I am gonna come back.
All right.
Yeah. Well, it's actually really nice having you back.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Pep, you better start listening again. You too iconic, you pieces of fucking dog shit.
You detritus.
Yeah. But no, as far as my picks, Sakamoto Days as well for this week if you want to check it out. Midnight Mass if you want to have a really cool fucking demon Christian, almost like a lighthouse vibe to it. Really interesting movie. If you want to watch Nosferatu with less dicks but more horror, this is it. And then as far as listening, just check out more of the episodes of Sacred 8 Podcast. Now back on YouTube now with more Butch. And be aware, be square. All right. Well, you'll keep up to date with all things on Sacred 8 at sacred8studios.com. And so save the society.
Duh.